Hello gardening friends, let's talk potatoes on this beautiful March 2026 day. So, if you're like me, you probably have potatoes that are just randomly growing some eyes. So this one just came out of that bag from the grocery store. Anyone who says grocery store potatoes won't grow is lying. Unless you have one that has specifically been sprayed, almost all grocery store potatoes will grow, at least from my area. Now, these ones over here are actually the babies of ones like this from the store. Last year, I did post a video of harvesting these. The problem though is most of these potatoes are really tiny, if you see the difference here. So these are the leftovers that I didn't use from what I harvested, and I forgot them in the pantry all winter, and now here we are. It's actually really funny how insanely huge some of these are. So, potatoes are one of the easiest things to grow. If you have kids, this is something you can absolutely do with them. You want to start with a bucket. This is a litter bucket that somebody gave me. You just make sure it's got some holes in the bottom. That's really all you need. Any bucket will work. Make sure it has holes in the bottom. If you want to be fancy, get a grow bag. But if you just are like, hey, I just want to grow some potatoes, there's buckets. There's even flower pots if you want to get fancy, but you want to make sure it's like one of these taller ones. You'll see why in a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some dirt here, and you're going to just put a little layer on the bottom. It doesn't have to be much, just enough that you don't see the bottom of the bucket anymore. Now you're going to get your potato. I'm going to grab one of these, and you just sit it in there, and then you cover it entirely with dirt. That's it. And then as it grows, you're going to add dirt all the way to the top. So in the case of what I'm doing here is I have this little tiny one, but then I have these really big ones. So these really big ones, what I actually like to do is I put them in and I kind of squish them down a little bit, because these are going to be popping out of the soil faster than these ones here. So I like to put these in a different bucket than the really tall ones, just because the rate of growing, like these ones are already really going, and that one not so much. So once you have them fully covered, you just put them in a sunny spot, and that's pretty much it. You will see them getting green leaves, and you might go, oh, I can't put any more dirt in it because there's green leaves. No, seriously, cover the dirt. Cover the leaves with the dirt, it's fine. You want to cover all the way up to the top of the bucket. I like to do it a little bit as they grow, but some people like to fill it all the way to the top in the beginning. I like to do a little bit because I want to see how they're growing. Like these ones, I'm going to kind of push in there so that they'll kind of wind around a little bit and give me more actually stuff that'll be making potatoes under the dirt. And once these get growing, they will get probably about like maybe a foot or two taller than your bucket. The deeper your bucket, the more potatoes you can actually get under the ground. So that's why I said you don't want to do too small of a bucket or anything like that. And don't put these in the ground for your own sanity. The first time I ever grew potatoes, I put them in a 4x4 space in the dirt in my garden at my old house. I spent 2 hours digging them out, which was incredibly backbreaking work, and I missed a lot of potatoes and had a whole bed of potatoes growing the next spring that I had missed. Normally they don't really overwinter, but those ones apparently overwintered really well because I was in the city and we didn't really have cold winters there. What you want to do with these once it's time to harvest is you just dump the bucket over. So how I just dumped the dirt into a pile here, that's pretty much what you're going to do in the bucket method. You just dump out your bucket and you've got potatoes. You are not hurting your back digging potatoes for hours, stabbing potatoes with a rake or whatever you're digging them up with, and making yourself crazy. Do this for your own sanity. Don't make my mistake. I hope you learned something here. Feel free to comment with any questions you may have, and follow me for more tips.